Hey everybody, I just wanted to share with you guys a quick explanation again of um, the Chance Generative Design assignment. So basically what we're going to be doing today is starting off with one of our compositions from our previous assignment. So you just pick one and this will be your starting point for this entire assignment. So every time we start something new, we'll come back to this original composition. So I just basically took this composition, copied it from my previous document, and then I made a new document in Illustrator by going to File, New, and then I made this new document just like last time, 10 inches by 10 inches, and then you can hit Create, and you'll have your new artboard that you can paste into, and that'll be your starting point. Now we want to come up with some sort of variable that we can use to change or transform different cells. So here we have one of our cells. We have 25 cells in totals because we have a 5 by 5 grid. It's like this 25 individual squares that make up our full composition here. So on Blackboard, there's a list of different variables that we can insert. But for this example, I'm just going to use the rotate 90 degrees. To introduce randomness and chance, what we're going to do is use the 6 sides of a dice, right? So if you have a dice, it has 6 sides on it because it's a cube. And we want to basically make a map that lets us know if I roll any number on the dice, what to do if I hit that number. So basically, it doesn't need to be in the same order, but you just need to kind of alternate between having your variable happen or have nothing happen. So here, just as an example, I have, if I roll a 1, I get rotate 90 degrees. If I roll a 2, I don't do anything. If I roll a 3, I rotate 90 degrees. 4, I don't do anything. 5, I don't do anything. If I roll a 6, rotate 90 degrees. And then we're going to roll a dice 25 times. Again, 1 for each sort of cell that we have in our composition. And then I'm going to write down the order. So I've got 25 sort of dice rolls here. And then I can just map out what I'm going to do. So for me, I'm just going to leave this up here for reference. And I'm going to come down and add this to a new artboard. If you don't know how to add a new artboard, you just come to Edit Artboards. You can hit this little plus icon. It'll generate a new artboard here. This is not just a rectangle. This is actually an artboard. If you do something on a rectangle, it will not export. So you need to make a new artboard for each time. So I'm going to take this composition. Again, this is the composition from our last assignment. Just duplicating it down here. And then I'm going to simply just follow my dice order and my action kind of dice mapping kind of thing over here. If I go here, I have a 1 is what I rolled first on my dice. If you don't have a dice, you can use an online dice roller. I have linked one that I made on Blackboard. Basically, if I roll a 1, then I'm going to go to my 1 here, and it says rotate 90 degrees. I'm just going to select this cell here. I'm just holding down Shift and rotating this cell 90 degrees. Now this one's all black, so you can't really see anything, but at least we've kind of followed that order. Next we have a 5, so that's no action. So I'm going to go here to my second block, and I'm not going to do anything at all. Go to my next number, which is 6, rotate 90 degrees. So here I'm going to rotate 90 degrees. And you're just going to keep doing this until you've affected all of the cells in your composition. So the next would be 3. 3 is rotate 90 degrees. Next is 4, which is no action. So I've done this first line, and I would just keep going through, following my dice order until I get to the last composition. Now once I finish this, it is technically my first composition that I've made, right? But what I want to go through, I want to keep the same action here for my next composition, but the only difference is I'm going to roll the dice again to get a different order. So I'm going to go through, copy my original composition, and then I'll follow my new dice order doing the same thing. I'll follow the same action plan that I used before. And then I'll do it a third time with a different dice order. So from this action plan, I'll generate 3 different compositions from my original here. I'm just going to put original here so it's clear. So this is my original composition from the last assignment. And then using this list of actions, my one variable, I'll have 3 new compositions that I make from that, all from rolling a dice. Then I'll choose a new variable. So this time, instead of rotate 90 degrees, I could say maybe fill entire cell with white. And again, this doesn't have to be in this exact order. This is just an example. So for this one, let's just say we wanted to fill the first 3 with white and the last 3 with no action. Completely up to you. So I'll take my original composition, the same one as before, and then I'll apply my dice order. So let's say I rolled a 1 first. I'm going to fill this entire section with a white. Fill. My second number is 5, so that's no action. My third number is 6, no action. My fourth number is 3, which is fill entire cell with white. And 4, so no action. This one is 3 again, so fill with white. And again, I'm just going to keep doing that until the whole thing is kind of finished up and I've followed this whole thing. Then again, I'm going to use this same list, the same order, the same variable, but just with a different dice order to get my second composition and my third. So for all my single variables, I'm going to come up with 3 different sort of list or dice mappings, this list of actions, whatever you want to call it. But I just want to use one variable and have some that, nothing happens. And then I'll roll the dice. So out of these, I'm going to have 9 single variables. So it'll be starting here and going around. Up here, these are all just my original compositions. Then I want to go through and make it a little bit more complex by adding multiple variables in. So you can see here, I still have my my original compositions up here that I can copy from. The same one, starting with the same one each time. But this time, if I look at my list, I have 2 different variables that I'm going through. So I have rotate 90 degrees, and I also have fill entirely with white. And then I have a new dice order. So again, just going to take my whole composition here and highlight all of it. And then I'm just going to duplicate it into my new artboard. And then again, I'm just going to follow my dice order. So if I roll a 1, let's rotate 90 degrees. Next number is 5, and that is fill entirely with white. Next one is 6, so I'm going to rotate 90 degrees. Next one is 3, so I'm going to rotate 90 degrees. And keep going until I've completed my whole composition. And then I'll roll the dice 2 more times to get me 3 compositions based on this list of actions. And again, I'll choose a new list of actions with 2 new variables, and then I'll make 3 compositions. So in total for the multivariable ones, I'll have 6 multivariable compositions. I'll have 9 single variable compositions, all starting from the same original piece that you made for the last assignment. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Once we're done, we're going to save this as an Illustrator file on our computer. So maybe I'm going to save this as chance operations and pick wherever folder you want it, and you just want to make sure you're saving as an Illustrator file. This file will be the one that allows you to open up and re-edit it if you need to, which is great. And then you don't want to, you can save that like as you go along so you don't lose your space. But when you don't want to export your images until you're completely finished. So if I was completely finished and ready to export, I'll go up to File, Export, Export As, and then instead of PNG, I'm going to save this as an SVG. Now the important part here is that we click Use Artboards, and then we select All. All will give us the option to export each one individually as its own file, but we just have to export once to get all of our files generated. You can hit export when you're ready.